Hello everybody, this is Kevin from KlotzProductions, and this is Game 2 of the quarterfinals at Mirrodin Besieged Gameday. I was on a mulligan to 6 and started the game off with a steppe lynx. After Jake played a mountain, I set down a plains to pump my steppe lynx and attack for 2 damage, taking him down to 18. Then post-combat, I resolved 2 more steppe lynxes, hoping to do maximum damage the next turn. However, that plan was quickly stopped when Jake laid down a tectonic edge and cast a pyroclasm to wipe my board, leaving me with only lands in my hand. I cracked a marsh flats going to 19 and then passed the turn back to Jake. He then put a sphere of the suns into play, and then I cracked another flats going to 18 and resolved a memnite. Jake resolved a prophetic prism and drew a card, and then put an inkmoth nexus into play. Then he played a preordain and chose to send 1 card to the bottom and put the other one in his hand. Then he played a second preordain and chose to send them both to the bottom this time. For my next turn, I played a contested war zone and then used it to pump my memnite and take Jake down to 16. Then Jake resolved to Jace the Mind Sculptor and used it to bounce my memnite back to my hand. I replayed the memnite, and then Jake used his Jace to brainstorm. He then played a Mox Opal and put a creeping tar pit into play, and then he finished by playing a tumble magnet. During my next combat, Jake tapped down the memnite with his tumble magnet, and then post-combat I resolved a glint hawk and used it to bounce and replay the memnite. Jake returned my hawk to my hand with his Jace and then animated his creeping tar pit and attacked me for 3, taking me down to 15. He then took my contested war zone, which I forgot to tap in response, and then he cast an ever-flowing chalice and kicked it once. I played a second contested war zone, however Jake tapped down my memnite again with his tumble magnet. So post-combat, I replayed my hawk in order to bounce the memnite and play it again. Jake played a second creeping tar pit and then used his Jace to brainstorm. He then played a second tumble magnet. Then for his combat, he animated his creeping tar pit and attacked again, along with the contested war zone to do 4 damage to me and take me down to 11 life. He then took my second contested war zone, which I was smart enough to tap first this time so he wouldn't be able to use it, and then he passed the turn. For my next combat, Jake used his tumble magnet to tap down my hawk, and then I attacked with my memnite to kill his Jace. Post-combat, I played a second glint hawk and then bounced the memnite and replayed it. Jake activated both his creeping tar pits along with his contested war zone to do 8 damage to me and take me down to 3 life. Then during my next combat, he used his 2 tumble magnets to tap my 2 hawks, and then I attacked with my memnite and did 1 damage to him, taking him down to 15 and getting my contested war zones back. Then post-combat, I resolved a core skyfisher and bounced and replayed the memnite. However, death was inevitable for me as Jake animated his tar pit 1 more time and took it to the red zone, finishing me off for the win, taking him to the semifinals.